The food in this prison was pig feed, and the bed was made of flat stones. On the walls were bloodstains left by the previous inmate who had committed suicide. Next to him was a drain, and the stench of the excrement was unbearable. Kelvin was filled with despair. That night, he tore his prison uniform into strips, using it to make a rope, planning to end his life. But the quality of the uniform was so poor that he couldn't even succeed in killing himself. In utter hopelessness, Kelvin slammed his head against the wall, and instantly blood poured from his head. His mind became hazy. In his daze, a moth flew in front of him, circling a few times before landing on the stone slab. Kelvin lifted his bowl, and the moth landed on the spoon, almost as if urging him to eat. At that moment, Kelvin remembered his dead wife, and a newfound will to live surged within him. He couldn't die like this, so he ate the barely edible food. A few days later, Kelvin was released. The guards moved him to a different cell, but the new cellmate was a dangerous man. The guard warned Kelvin that this man had already killed 3 cellmates, and if he didn't want to die, he should pay to switch cells. The next day, during yard time, Kelvin went to the guard captain, handing over the little money he had left. The guard took the money but said it wasn't enough. He knew he had been tricked, but there was nothing he could do. As time passed, Kelvin learned that the prison had 3 major gangs, who often fought each other behind the scenes. The bald man he had offended wasn't just a member of one of these gangs, but the leader and the prison's fighting champion. The warden arranged these brutal fights, not only to resolve conflicts between inmates, but also to profit from the violence. Kelvin now understood that he had angered the wrong person. The following day, while working outside, the bald man's gang caught Kelvin and beat him senseless, while the guards stood by and watched. Afterwards, Kelvin was thrown into a solitary confinement cell. It started to rain outside, and there was no place to sleep. The rain mixed with excrement, making the already harsh conditions even worse. But this time, Kelvin didn't give in. The continuous abuse taught him a valuable lesson. In this survival of the fittest world, only violence could solve anything. So he began an intense workout routine, climbing walls, doing pull-ups and push-ups, training in the foul-smelling small room that had become his sanctuary. Slowly, his body grew stronger. Months of grueling training passed, and Kelvin faced his first fight. His opponent was none other than the fighting champion, the bald man. The odds were 1 to 20, and no one expected Kelvin to win. At the start of the match, the bald man landed a heavy punch, knocking Kelvin to the ground, followed by a blow to his stomach. Although Kelvin was strong, he lacked real fighting experience and was completely dominated by the bald man. But Kelvin endured every blow. Then he seized an opportunity and landed a punch to the bald man's face, followed by a flurry of punches. However, once the bald man recovered, Kelvin found himself at a disadvantage again. With a brutal shoulder throw, the bald man slammed him to the ground. Before Kelvin could get up, the bald man's knee came crashing down on him. The spectators went wild at the brutal scene. Kelvin tried to struggle to his feet, but was kicked back down, losing all his strength. The bald man, unwilling to relent, grabbed Kelvin's legs and slammed them into a pillar. Kelvin suddenly lashed out. Then he quickly pressed his advantage. By the time the guards realized something was wrong and rushed over to separate the two, it was already too late.